what the idea was behind the podcast. Was just two people sitting down talking about whatever, and business owners and some of the things that that we face, and I mean, and who knows what it is like to be in business for yourself better than people that are in business for themselves. Right? I can't even get it out of my mouth. But people that are actually in business for themselves, and the things that you experience, the things that it took to get to where you are today, and then just like the things we were talking about down at the bar, all of the intricacies of hiring and retaining, and keeping people on your team, and then
Yes.
also kind of dealing with some things with the state government.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think my biggest message would be we have a lot of politicians that run. They always talk about small businesses. We're the backbone of the community. And it's, they're always bringing it up. But I think as voters and members of the community, I think it's important to reach out to those small businesses and see how they're doing, see how those policies affect them, how those bills affect them. Ask your politicians, when was the last time you spoke to a small business owner?
Yeah.
What was the last small business you went to and supported? I think if the community holds them accountable, we hold them accountable. Like, they're supposed to be representing us. And I have yet to see one at my small business. Any politician, local, state, federal, I have yet to see one. I have yet to be contacted by one. I have yet to have a single discussion with any politician about how their policies are affecting my small business, or even trying to educate themselves or actually represent me and my small business in my community.
Curious. So Tree Trekkers is, you take it away. Tell me
We
a little
are
bit about
an aerial adventure and zip line park. So it's like a giant obstacle course in the trees with zip lines. It's also, in the industry, we're known as a challenge course or a high ropes course. We're one of the larger courses in the U.S. So we have 16 different trails with 8 difficulty levels. So I like to say there's family fun for everyone. We do birthday parties. We do school groups, field trips, a lot with scouts. We do company picnics, corporate team bonding. We're great for like date nights, family fun, you name it. We'll make it happen for you. Bachelor parties. Start with us in the morning and then go to the breweries in the afternoon. So we pretty much, we do it all. We make it all happen for you. We opened in 2019, in August of 2019. So right before the end of the world. I like to joke. And so we're still here. We're, I always say we're trekking along.
Right. No pun intended.
Right.
That's awesome. And so, so now go back before 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious. Where did it start? Like, did you wake up one day and said, you know what, or were you an avid climber? Was this some sort of activity that because I know you're athletic.
Yes.
And hence the crutch.
I'm very athletic unless I'm playing the Oculus, and then I'm not.
So so you're athletic and you enjoy this kind. So is this where this stemmed from? Where did this idea come from?
So we started the concept in 2016. We had friends and family invested. We have family members helping us through kind of like the permitting and the site build out. High ropes courses are not a new concept. There's a lot of them in the U.S., but there's nothing like that in Frederick. So we saw Frederick. There's a lot of families moving in. And then there's also a lot of land development because of that. So we were wanting to provide trees for future generations to enjoy while still providing like a family recreation business. So this kind of came about as a way to preserve forest and provide family recreation facility for all of the families that were moving into Frederick County.
All right. That's awesome. So you're local to Frederick?
So I grew up in Washington County, but I did gymnastics at Frederick Gymnastics Club. So I grew up coming to Frederick 4 to 5 times a week because I was a competitive level gymnast here. So Frederick and Washington County, they're my home. I've grown up here, And then I went to school in South Carolina and then kind of traveled around. I was an marine mammal trainer for a long time, for about 10 years. And then that was like my dream job. And then I kind of realized I needed like a plan for the future.
Like, okay, so you were talking about marine.
I was a marine mammal trainer, so that was my goal when I was growing up.
Are we talking like you're training like dolphins and all the sea lions? Are you one of these people that was like at like Busch Gardens?
I was not at SeaWorld. I was not at SeaWorld. It wasn't really a goal of mine. I actually worked for the Navy's Marine Mammal Program for like a little over 3 years. So that was in Kings Bay, Georgia, on the nuclear sub base, which was that was pretty cool. So there is still, like, to this day, no human technology that is better than dolphins' echolocation. So humans have not developed sonar that can tell the difference between like a dolphin, a shark, a person, because they all look the same on sonar. But dolphins can tell the difference, like a log, stuff like that. So they were using dolphins' echolocation to basically keep enemy divers out of the bay. So
that's incredible.
So that was, and they have several different programs they do, but that was a program I was involved in. And then
about high tech.
Yes, and then they had sea lions that would go down, like the system would work in a way where dolphins would detect. They put like they have a device that would put a signal up. And then the sea lions had like a grabber that they would go in and it would attach to enemy diver's leg. Yeah. And then that's how they would secure the diver. That device would be handed off to the Navy, or I guess it was Marines that were in the water with us. They'd get that and then they would pull the diver up. I don't think there's ever been in a case where it's actually happened in real life, but that was the idea behind it.
Okay. Could you imagine that?
Right.
You're down there and you're just like, making sure that you're not getting caught by anybody, and then a damn dolphin comes up.
Right? It's like,
hey, let me put up my flag, and then deploy this thing, and it's going to grab you,
and then the sea lion's in your face, and
that's crazy.
So I think this was a very long. Like, I know that program's evolved since I've been in it, so it's probably not quite the same as what it was.
Think about that. Wow. Yeah, that'll blow your mind. So, okay. Wow. So you did that for a while. and then how did this, So
I did that, and then I worked at the Audubon Zoo with sea lions there. And then I was actually, I came home and I was treated for osteosarcoma, which was, I had a bone tumor in my right knee. So I have a partial femur and full knee replacement.
Okay, I just want to clarify, that's not what I was picking on you about for having crutches.
No.
I just want to make sure everybody knows what I'm
other leg now.
I don't want to get any hate mail.
No, this was 12 years ago. Cancer free since then. I came home, I got treated here, and then I worked at the Audubon, I worked at the Hogle Zoo. I worked with polar bear and otters, sea lions, and seals.
The Hogle Zoo
in Utah, Salt Lake City.
Find that. Can you find that, Dave? Can you find the Hogle Zoo? I want to see see if you can find the Hogle
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Because I know we're not going to find any pictures of divers getting caught by dolphins.
Yeah.
But we might actually see the Hogle Zoo
yes.
here.
Yeah, you can see the Hogle Zoo and the Audubon Zoo. Both very nice zoos.
Both very nice zoos.
Mm.
That's awesome. And then how long did you do that?
So I went back and I worked for like 3 more years, and then I came back home because there's not a lot of money in it. You have to have roommates. Like it's they want you to have a college education, but then don't pay you for that education. So I came back home and I started working actually as an animal control officer in Frederick County, and was like, all right, I need a retirement plan. I'm going to try helping animals in a different capacity. And while I was doing that, there you go.
So here's the Hogle Zoo.
Yes. So I worked in the Rocky Shores. Hopefully they still have that. So if you go up to exhibits, they'll probably, they have the Rocky Shores. Maybe not.
Let's see.
I don't know if they rebranded that area.
Amazing connection.
It does happen were they rebranded? There it is. Yep.
Rocky Shore.
And I don't think the polar bear I worked with, I don't think is not there anymore. And then I worked with a sea lion that was shot in the head by fishermen. Oh. His name was Rocky, and he had bubbles in his brain, so he was a little bit slower. But we worked with him. I think he did eventually pass away, but he had a really healthy, happy life while he was with us for about, I think, 7 years.
Shot in the head by
fishermen.
Wow.
In California. So obviously he couldn't be released back to the wild, so he came to the Hogle Zoo and then lived a really wonderful life.
And you worked with a polar bear.
I did. Her name was Rizzo, and I believe she also passed away. And this was 9 or 10 years ago. So it's been a while since I've worked with some of these animals.
Rizzo the polar bear.
Mm-hmm. So I know
What's that? What does that got to be like? Do they stink?
Not as much. Otters stink. Otters smell. Okay. They smell really bad. Polar bears, not so much. I think polar bears have a hard time being in human care or captivity. My personal opinion is because they travel, they can travel thousands of miles, in a winter. I think they're so used to being on the move that they don't do well with the small spaces that they have. They tend to pattern swim and then pace a lot. I think it causes them stress. But I don't know what the solution is, because they are losing their habitat, and there's a lot of human animal conflict out there because of, in my opinion, overpopulation of humans. But anyway, so they end up in human care, and you do the best you can, but I don't think it's the right place for especially polar bears. I don't think thrive in those conditions. Sea lions and seals seem to do okay. Yeah, but a lot of other animals do, but polar bears is definitely not one that I think is conducive. I would put that in context with killer whales and shamu. I don't think those animals do well in captivity either.
Right. And polar bears are amazing hunters too. I mean, just unbelievable.
Correct.
Yes. And they hunt their prey. They hunt them down. I mean, they're on it. Yes. I've watched some videos on obviously online about polar bears, and the polar bear is an amazing animal.
And they're smart. So I work with grizzly bears too. I think they might still have those grizzlies there. So their mom killed and ate a hiker in Yellowstone and fed it to the 3 cubs.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
So we ended up with the 3 cubs, because then once they taste human flesh, they're not allowed to be in the wild anymore.
Yeah, that creates some problems, I guess.
But they were wonderful. They weren't ever seemed like they wanted to eat us. They were pretty happy. Honestly, their favorite thing was pomegranates.
So they kept that quiet. They kept that secret kind of quiet.
Yeah, it was secret.
Wow.
Pomegranates and sweet potatoes were their favorite things to eat.
Okay, so if you're a vegetarian, you're more likely to be eaten by
don't eat pomegranate and go hiking now.
Wow. Okay. So we digressed and went.
We totally went down the rabbit hole.
Down the Utah, the Utah Zoo.
The sea lion.
Why Utah?
It was one of the first places I could get a job, and then my significant other at the time was living there, so it kind of just all worked out. And then we weren't gonna stay together, so then I did a traveling sea lion show for a while, and which was. The animals were amazing, but the owners were not. And then I came back home again, and I was an animal control officer for 3 years in Frederick County, which was very interesting. And then while I was doing that, we started working on the park.
Okay.
So I was trying to help animals in a different capacity, and I was like, this is not for that. I was like, I need to start transitioning into something different.
Right.
And I've always been outside. I've always had unique jobs. I've always I have a psychology background, so that kind of helped transition into the marketing and sales aspect of the business.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a huge transition from taking care of animals and things like that. And pull up Tree Trekkers, Dave.
Yeah.
Let's pull up Tree Trekkers and take a look at that, because this is awesome. So. Did you build the website yourselves, or did you
That is all me.
This is all you.
Yeah, I did help. I had some help from a college student that was working with us, but for the most part, that's me.
It's great.
So,
I love all these obstacles. This is awesome. Now,
when you're a small business, you kind of, you've got to budget where you can.
Wait,
so you couldn't,
I have no idea what
right?
you're talking about. we have so much excess. We don't know what to do with ourselves. So how high are these people off the ground? Like
so this little Emerson right there, she's probably about 10 feet in that photo. That the barrels is going to be one of our green courses. That's probably about 25 feet. She's on a yellow. This is the main start platform. So we have staff that are up there that can observe everybody climbing. That's Jesse Graff. If you know who Jesse Graff is, American Ninja Warrior. There I am. And this is one of our, that was a double blue. So that one's about 45 feet. So our highest height is 65. That's the double black diamond.
You know, though, you don't think about it. 20 feet off the ground is up there. Yeah. And for a lot of people, I have a ropes course here. Mm-hmm. My ropes course is inside. You're 12 and a half feet to the bottom of your feet, to where your feet are. Mm-hmm. My ceiling is 19. You're at 19 and a half feet or whatever to the top of the rope. And so this is 12 and a half feet. I have people that literally scream and turn around and go back down when they reach the top of the platform, and they're like, no. And it's funny because it's usually adults.
Yep.
And they get up there, and the kids are like, whatever, go.
Yep.
Do you have the same experience over there?
Yeah, sometimes, and we will. Like I've definitely had like the macho like Navy dad get up, take one step onto like the element, turn white, and just done. He's done. So, and we will refund your ticket if you get up there and you decide that it's not for you.
It's good to know.
Yeah, we will. We will. So he got refunded. I've had kids. It's funny. Sometimes the kids will get up and get nervous, but a lot of times, like if I'm available, I'll get up. I'll try to help. Like if you get them through the first couple elements and they get the hang of it, they're fine. And then they're amazing. Like if you can get them through the first course when they're nervous, they're like crying, they're good to go. They take off, and then it's the parents. We have one family, because if you're 4 to 7, you have to climb with an adult. So I have one family that comes, and the mom, she's like, well, he's gonna do double black, and I'm not. I think he was 6 at the time, and he's like, I mean, he's amazing. And I was like, it's fine, like it's okay, he could do it without her, because he's just amazing. So, I mean, they surprise you sometimes, like how good they are at that kind of stuff. And the mom's just, waving from the ground. She's like, I did the yellows and greens with you.
You're done. That's great. So do you have any fear of heights?
I do not. I was a gymnast growing up. So like I said, I not at all. No,
not at all. Doesn't bother you.
Not at all.
That's great. We'll have to get you out here to climb the sky coaster at some point. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, as long as I'm clipped into something.
Yes. No, you're not free climbing. No free climbing. But, okay, so how long, and you and I have talked about this, but so everybody it's listening, how long did it take you to construct this thing? This is, first of all, this is a tremendous amount of ropes, wires, guys, learning that you don't saddle a dead horse, all of those sorts of things. This is amazing how much that is actually involved in this. So how long did it take you to actually put this all together?
So we started the process in 2016, and we had, and at the time we had to figure out, we had bought farmland that they had allowed to grow up. The first thing we had to figure out was if the county was going to require us to have a paved driveway, or if we could do gravel. Because if we had to do paved, that's $2 million, and we weren't. Then the project wasn't feasible. So that was kind of the first step in the process. Once we figured out we could have a gravel driveway, then we started working on the site plan, and we had ACCT is the Association of Challenge Course Technology. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Okay. So they build, they're kind of like the governing body of high ropes courses and challenge courses. It's not government run, but it's kind of, we all adhere to those policies, and they have a conference every year, and then they have companies I recommend. So we went with a company, and had a company that built the course for us. Okay. So we did not build that ourselves.
So you third partied it. So you had a
company come in and do that.
Wow.
We built all the buildings, the pavilions, that stuff ourselves. But the course itself was was like a professional engineer did with a build company.
So they're coming out and they're inspecting the trees because obviously got to make sure. I see in the background there's a power line type of pole.
Telephone poles and trees. So it's a mix.
Okay.
And that's the technology is if you can do both and kind of mix them, that's like the best for the course and the trees is to have a mix of both.
I take it that's why you're.
Yeah, I mean, I love like our whole motto is to get off the screen and into the green because I grew up off the screen,
off the screen,
and into the green.
Yes, I love it.
So, like I said, I grew up outside. I was always outside, and I think it's the amount of screens that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, from phones, the computers at work, the tablets, the TV, and like kids these days can't even communicate. No. So it's like really important and there's no option once you're climbing. You might be able to take photos, but you're engaged in the activity. You're disconnected and you're reconnecting with your friends, with your family, with nature, with exercise, with being outdoors. So that's my personal like passion, is trying to get kids and people moving and being outside and off their devices.
Yeah.
But I can't remember where I was going with that. I got off on a tangent.
That's all right. Tangents are fun. That's what this show's all about. It's tangents. It's one big tangent. No,
right. How is that bringing that back to? But speaking of screens, we hire a lot of teenagers. It's their first job.
Sure.
They can't even look me in the eyes when they interview me or interview with me. So we put a lot of time, energy, and money into training our staff. And it was a huge point of pride for us because it's, we have staff that are working their way up. We're giving incremental wage increases. And once they've had a job for us, they're going to be successful in any future career they go into or any other future job if they follow what we train them.
Yeah.
But when I get them at 15 and 16, they are not doing $15 an hour worth of work. Like I have to train them to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand like Amazon workers should definitely be making more money than what they're making. But when they implement stuff with that, with no carve outs for teenagers or Jeff Bezos didn't go, oh, I'm just going to take a pay cut since I have to pay my employees more. No, he said, now the consumer, all my products cost more. So I think we're all like, it's like a blanket solution that doesn't work because the people you're actually going after trying to get to pay their fair share are never the ones that end up, right? They're the ones that can afford lobbyists. They're the ones that can afford tax attorneys and accountants. And it's always small business, I think, that suffers the brunt of every I'm in quotations, good intentioned bill or policy or tax they come up with.
Right.
So, and again, that goes back to talk to your small business owners. Please talk to us. We're happy to share.
Yeah. Well, that's why I felt like that the ESN, the starting ESN was so, that's where my passion was, because so many people, I'm sure you've had this where people have asked you, well, like some of the questions I've asked you tonight is, how did you get started? Where did things get going? Things like that. And, I feel those questions all the time. And my father before me and mother before me, because we've been doing this for half a century, almost half a century, and in the Frederick area, and so people come to you, and I mean we've employed over 5,000 first-time job seekers, and we've launched people into careers as politicians. We've launched people into careers as football. We've got a football star. We've got basketball. We've got people that went on to pro athletic careers. We've got people that went into all kinds of different jobs in such a diverse, you can't just pick it out and just say, oh, well, because people started here, they became, this particular classification of workers. And they didn't. They learned a lot of the skills that are day-to-day life skills.
Yep.
Making eye contact. It's bringing kids out of their shell we tell them when they put on their shirt, they put on their shirt, their costume.
Yep.
They become a superhero. I'm like, think about a superhero. Superhero puts on their uniform, covers up their face, whatever. Some of them do. Some of them wear masks. Some of them don't. Well, when you put on your outfit to come to work for Tree Trekkers, or for Adventure Park USA or the Whistle Stop or whatever, you're now putting on your uniform. You're a superhero. You get to become whoever you want to embody by putting on that uniform. And if you're an introvert, you get to play the extrovert. If you're quiet, you get to be loud. You get to be something that you've never been before. And so I think that, and you build those kind of character traits in individuals that they carry on for their life. I mean, we've got people that are council members. We've got folks that come back to us that come and talk to my father all the time. And you see this and you hear this, and it's like, this was my first job. My first job was working for your father, and I look at him like, really? Yeah, and this is it was incredible, and I've taken a lot of those skills with me. So, it's like the small business, because it is so true. It's so real to your heart.
Yep. And we care about our staff, and we want them to be successful. And I think we've given a lot of young people like their voice. I like the superhero. I always like, you're on stage. Like when you're here, like this is a stage. How I am with you right now is not how I am when I'm at home. Or I was like, but you're on stage, like the customer service. And I was like, smiles go a long way. So don't listen to this and figure out our secret there. But I'm like, just smile. It's really hard to yell at someone when they're smiling and trying to be nice to you. So, and of course, and then I was like, and if that's not working, like get an adult, get somebody like will come assist. But the customer service skills that we teach them. And I was in Baltimore this past weekend, and I came back and I told our staff, I said, even on our worst day, we're still great. So I was like, you guys are killing it. Like even on our worst day, we look good, like compared to some of the customer service out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's next for Tree Trekkers? So what do you got? Next? You've got, so we were just talking about it. I mean, it's rainy day, right? So it was rainy day. The past couple of days have been rainy, and weather's been, we're coming out of the winter time. This is season, man. We're just getting ready to get rock and rolling.
Yes. So we're gearing up. I need Mother Nature. I have conversations with her every day, and I'm like, come on, we love you. Yeah. Like we're good for you. Stop raining on Saturdays. Stop raining at spring break.
Last year was atrocious for that. What did we lost the whole month?
Every
we
Saturday.
Lost the whole month
every
of
Saturday.
What was it? It was April, May, and it was just like beautiful throughout the week, and then Saturday rain.
I know.
We just saw that. It was just atrocious.
Yep. It was not great. It was not hopeful. So the next big thing we have coming up is going to be May 11th. So that's going to be our Climbing for a Cause fundraiser. We're doing 2 this year. So this one's a new one. This is going to be for Girls on the Run. And we're going to have traditional, authentic Mexican food will be there. I think it's Snow Blast. I have 2 different snow cone companies. So please check the website. Make sure I'm saying the right one for this event. And then we have vendors that are going to be coming as well. We have a cornhole tournament, and McClintock Distilling is going to be there. So if you don't want to climb and you just want to come hang out, you want to play cornhole and drink, you can. It's a $5 cover this day. $5 goes directly to the Girls on the Run fundraiser. $5 of every ticket goes to them. And then we do have an option if you want to donate a little bit more. There is a Climbing for a Cause tickets that goes specifically to that fundraiser that has $10 you can donate. And there will be raffle prizes, and one of them is going to be a gift certificate to Adventure Park here.
Wow, I've heard about that place. Yeah, I've heard about that place. It's pretty nice.
So it's going to be I think it's going to be a really fun day. And then the next and then the 12th, we do have Moms Climb free for Mother's Day, and we have Dads Climb free for Father's Day. So, and they're both superhero themed.
Wow, fantastic.
Yes. And then Memorial Weekend, our military families get a free pair of gloves that weekend. And then just speaking of military, veterans will always climb free on Veterans Day or Veterans Day weekend. I know that's kind of far out, but I do want our vets to know we are taking care of them. And then our second Climbing for a Cause fundraiser is Relay for Life on August 17th. And that's going to have traditional, authentic Mexican food and grilled cheese, please. That is, if you go to Ticket Info and you go to events, That's going to give you all the events that we have coming up. So right now we have our spring break specials up there if the weather is going to cooperate this weekend. And if you scroll down, so there's a little list that'll kind of tell you everything. And then there's a little bit more info as you scroll down with like the photos. And then there's going to be the Girls on the Run. I forgot to tell you it's 80s themed. So
Very cool.
Wear your best 80s costume. And then that has all the sponsors. So it's Snowball Waterfalls for that one.
Snowball Waterfalls. Fantastic. Well, that's awesome. You've got so much in the pipeline. I'm so glad that you took the time to come out and sit down with me this evening. This is great. I liked learning all of these things about you. I mean, my gosh, who would have known? So the next time.
So many things. And we love working with small businesses. So if you want to sponsor, if you want to be a community partner with us, please feel free to reach out. Supporting small local business is my personal mission. So
absolutely. So, well, I appreciate you coming out here. It's great. I agree with you. I mean, it's if you don't know because you don't ask, you know, it's kind of like the information is out there, and that's what we're hoping to be able to do is heighten awareness about what we have to deal with as being in small businesses, and that, you know, it's not that. Believe me, by no means am I complaining. I love what we do. I love, you know, like you, I have that passion where, you know, and the same thing. It's like my truck is a 2004, has 225,000 miles on it. And, you know, it's like this is not wealthy, but rich because I get to experience things like this. I get to experience people's lives and share in the little parts of experiences that, like climbing on the ropes course for the first time and having people, you know, experience going across there, and maybe the wind's blowing and you're a little bit nervous and you're grabbing hold of the next rope and you're white knuckling it, man, and then you get to the other side and it's like, you know, dad's there congratulating you, or your team's there, or like your bridal shower, or your bachelor party, whatever. And you're you know, it's a challenge, and you're going across this thing, and you feel like I can't make this happen. I'm not going to be able to take the next step. I'm literally about to pee in my pants. I'm going across this thing, and it's terrifying. But when they get to the other side, or when they finally get down, and they're just like the excitement, and we get to. You get to experience that. You get to share in that. And if it wasn't for you, that experience wouldn't happen.
Correct. Yeah, it's an amazing feeling to see the smiles. And then we've had a lot of success with special needs as well. So just seeing them be able to like do this activity like it's self-guided, and then they can accomplish that. It's amazing. And just in general, like the smile, you know, everyone's just so happy there. I love it. I just love walking out there and seeing everybody having a great time and smiling and talking to each other. And again, connecting, because they're not on their phones. They're not doing this. So
from the screen to the green.
It's important. So, and again,
but not playing golf with you. I'm never playing golf.
No, don't play golf with me. I'll drive the golf cart for you.
That sounds like that's a deal. That's a deal. Or some Top Golf. There you go.
I do love Top Golf. I'm not good at it, but I do love it.
Yeah,
so
Top
I do.
Golf is a blast.
Any activity, right? Like doing stuff is always fun.
I know, and there's so much to do in Frederick now that there didn't used to be. And you know, we started out with Frederick Public Golf and Games on the north end of Frederick in 1980, and it's just, you know, we've just seen Frederick grow. And when I tell people that Thomas Johnson Drive used to end at our parking lot, they're like, no way. You know, it's just amazing to see how much things have grown. And now there's so much to do, and there's so many entrepreneurial minded individuals that are in our community, and that's why this is so relevant to, you know, all of us, what we're doing, and getting the word out.
And Frederick's, like, it's a pretty amazing place for small businesses, because I do feel like we are all very supportive of our local small businesses, especially as business owners. We partner a lot, we support each other, and I think your private sector really supports your nonprofit sector as well. I've lived in a lot of different places we talked about earlier, and I've never seen a community work so well together, private, nonprofit, small business to small business. I mean, like in some, we could be competitors, but we're not. We're going to work together because we know not everyone's going to go to Adventure Park every weekend. Not everyone's going to go to Tree Checkers every weekend. Not everyone's going to go to the movies every weekend.
Sure.
So we want to support getting everybody out to all of those small businesses. And I think the Frederick community is actually really good at that.
Yeah. I have to agree with you on that. Well, I appreciate you very much. Thanks for coming out.
I appreciate doing this.
Dave,
this is great.
Thanks so much for coming in and running everything for us.
Dave.
I appreciate you, man. This was a lot of fun. So, yeah, so check them out at Tree Trekkers and, make sure that you go by and say hi and ask her to tell you her story because I tell you what, it's